In this video, I want to talk about Games Workshop's marketing with the new Kill Team and why it didn't work. They had a three-stage approach to their marketing strategy. The first part they did pretty well on. The second part was okay, but the third part is where it all fell apart. But I'll get to that later in the video. The early stages of their marketing strategy was mostly revolved around using electronic marketing to generate hype. They would put out Warhammer community articles, share those on other platforms and in their emails, hopefully not giving too much away, but giving content creators enough to talk about. This works pretty well. If you go to the bigger channels like Last Half Dead, you'll see that basically every article is in coverage. I liked the old Kill Team, so I started this channel, where I was basically just making videos over the new Kill Team news that was coming out. Putting out free information and letting YouTubers and other people on social media spread the word is a pretty solid marketing plan for a company that already has a huge fan base like Games Workshop does. Now I want to get to their second stage. This was their last minute marketing push before launch day. What they did here is they sent bosses to bigger reviewers a few weeks before the game went on pre-order. When the reviewers got the Octarius set, they can say whatever they want about it, but they aren't allowed to release content until a certain date. For Kill Team, they could talk about the Octarius part and the core rules roughly a week before the pre-order, but they couldn't talk about the compendium, which are the datasheets themselves, until just a day or two before the pre-orders went live. This is a really popular tactic in a lot of industries. Getting positive reviews on your product right before it launches can really help generate hype. But wait, the reviews weren't actually positive here. A good case study of this is if you go to Tabletop Minions page, he has almost 200,000 subscribers, which is pretty big for a channel that's really just based around skirmish wargaming. He had a video saying the rules were just okay about a week before, which got over 50,000 views. And then he did a video saying the datasheets were disappointing with over 50,000 views right before it launched. For anyone who was on edge of sending Games Workshop a couple $100s for this was probably not the endorsement they were hoping for.
Kill Team Compendium. It's kind of disappointing.
The strategy of sending out free products isn't a bad idea. When people get free stuff, they are normally pretty happy with it, but Games Workshop could have done something different here. They could have done some basic research to figure out who's going to be the most critical of their game. And then they could have done some consumer and influencer beta testing. If bigger influencers got early copies with a non-disclosure agreement, and they got effect on the final product by giving feedback, they probably wouldn't have had as many complaints about it. I'm not saying Games Workshop didn't do any testing with their product, but you already know your marketing strategy, which is mostly based on social media, so you should really let those people have a say in your product. They could have got some early feedback about the fashions being a little too vanilla, and that you need some pictures and fluff in your compendium. That would have been an easy solution that they would have made profit on by increasing sales. The final part of their marketing strategy, and the part I think looks the worst in hindsight, was the actual pre-order process. So how they addressed this was they had two versions of the Octarius set listed on the website. One was already made, ready to ship when the pre-order window ends. And the other way to order was through a made-to-order type version. And if you had to get one of the made-to-order copies, it could be months before you actually got it. Games Workshop has had an issue running out of stock in the past, and they get a lot of hate for it. Which, if something launches while you're at work or you're just busy, paying double for it on eBay isn't something anyone wants to do. They did also add another incentive to order early by offering a free metal combat gauge if you were one of the first ones to order. Kinda goofy, but it's another incentive they were trying to offer. The marketing philosophy behind what they were trying to do is create a sense of urgency and scarcity, meaning that there were only a limited number and that you only had a short time to get it. This is really powerful in marketing. As long as people are passionate about the product, it's one of the safest ways to guarantee sales. So why didn't this work? Well, if you create a sense of urgency and scarcity, and then it's not real, people feel betrayed. I'm making this on Monday after the pre-order weekend, and both the Metal Combat Gauge, which was supposed to be very limited edition, and the already made Kill Team bosses are both still on the side. This means one of two things, neither of which are very good for Games Workshop. The first is that they had way more than they needed actually produced, and they artificially created this sense of urgency. to get people to buy them ASAP, and to have a killer opening weekend. They didn't want the negative press of running out of stock, but still wanted the buying pressure of being limited. I know I was sitting there waiting for the pre-orders to go live so I could get a copy early, but apparently I could have just ordered yay and it would have been the same. The whole thread of you may have to wait months to get a copy if you don't order ASAP was just a way to get people to buy. The other, and maybe even worse, answer for Games Workshop as a company is they predicted how many sets they needed, and they missed the mark. For every 10 sets they thought they needed, they only sold 5 or 4, and that's why they're still offering the sets and still have all the limited edition items. If the starter set from the new Kill Team flopped, they probably won't be as likely to push out as much new material for it, or they at least won't put in as many man hours and as much effort towards keeping people engaged in the game just because it didn't sell as well. We don't actually know the production or sales numbers, so this is all a prediction on what happened. Maybe they really did just overproduce on purpose because they wanted to make sure everyone got one. Once the boxes ship out, looking at local game stores and then sites like YouTube and Reddit will be the best gauge for how many people actually order copies and how much hype there really is for the game. The Last Half Dead did a poll on his YouTube channel with almost 3,000 votes, and about 55% of people said they were hyped for it. Granted, these are people who follow a channel that almost only talk about Kill Team, so that's a very biased group, but only 10% of them thought it looked bad. I'll end the video by saying I am excited to play it, and I did order a copy. But Games Workshop started off strong and then dropped the ball on their marketing strategy. Hopefully the game is fun, and we won't have to wait too long to get the pre-orders. Thank you for watching.